Hello, city builders. This is Hubbub. Welcome to this Wednesday afternoon stream in City Skylines. This is a new build I've been working on. And as always, my Boston Terrier has decided that she wants to play fetch right when I start talking. So I'm going to try to multitask here a little bit. But welcome. Hopefully you enjoy the stream. I just wanted to pop in and do a little bit of work this afternoon. It's really loud. Bring it here. Bring it here. Bring it here. There we go. Okay, so introduction is out of the way. So I started working on this a couple weeks ago when I finally had some breathing room to get into plazas and promenades. And my goal is to try to create the most dense urban cores that I possibly can on a pretty elegant mountain taper map. Right now, I'm working on this core here. I've added in farming and forestry. We'll look at those in a second. The general overall game plan will be second. Now, this is going to clutter the map a little bit, but I want to put a second urban core over here, third urban core over here, and then either the airport here or here. I haven't decided. I think over here looks pretty decent for fishing and wetlands and industrial cargo airport. And then maybe some more farming and forestry in here with tourism along this beach. But that could change as I go along. This is already starting to... I mean, this is fleshing out pretty well as far as I'm concerned. This industrial farm over here is doing pretty well. Farming, I never quite generate as much income as I want, but 24,000 is better than I've done in the past. We have net exports. The reason we have these imports is because I always use silos and warehouses to keep the supply chain flowing. And so there's always some importing that happens, but I'm always exporting more than I import. So it's net positive exports of farming goods. I tend to plot out pretty regular grid type road networks, but obviously you can see I tried to organize this in a way that it kind of conforms to the existing layout of the trees. Then recently worked on this forestry industry over here, lots and lots of trees on this side of the map. So this isn't too huge. It is 5 stars now at this point. And so we are making money here, trying to make it as kind of organic as possible. But the layout of these plots are always pretty regular. So that's where we're at with forestry and farming. We are making money. The budget has actually, the treasury has actually been stable for quite a while now in game. We are trying to build it sustainably as we can. We are working with wind and solar electricity. I'm using almost exclusively the green self-sufficient buildings. Let's see, what else? Recycling only in terms of trash collection. I've banned all combustion engines, so we are only working with electrical vehicles. We're pretty much in the green on electricity, except when it goes to nightfall. I've just got so much capacity. I could start turning stuff off if I wanted, because we're down to 70%. That's about as low as I want to put it and not risk getting in trouble when we go to nightfall. I may keep it on day-night cycle, off a day-night cycle for this stream, because that way I can just build more efficiently, but I have been stress testing at least once a day with day-night cycles. So this build is working in a day-night cycle pretty regularly. Let's see. We are in good shape with water and sewage. garbage processing. I think I need to do a little bit of work on how I organize the educational system. You can see that there are parts of this map where I have educational institutions plopped pretty well, but for some reason these buildings just are not sending students out to the schools. But we'll see how. I'm not ready to tackle that just yet. We have 71% graduation at high school, 63% graduation from college, which really doesn't bother me too much because there are always going to be jobs in a city that require people that do not have full education, so that's fine. Happiness levels, at some point I'm going to work on this. Residential is 100%, industrial, we don't have much industrial, so industrial is pretty happy. Commercial, this is actually par for the course as commercial goes in the game. Office, I've never seen it this low, so I have to figure out what's going on. I think what's going on here is I've been working with the realistic population mod, and so these offices, no, that's commercial. Let's find an office. So my office buildings, I think, are just not getting as many workers. Well, no, that building has workers. That building has workers. So I'm not entirely sure why my offices are not as happy as they could be at some point. So there's a shortage of workers here. It could be that the formulas are more challenging in hard mode. I am playing in hard mode. I wanted to have a way to account for external costs. In terms of sustainability, so that's why I put it into hard mode. Let's see, what else? So happiness is good, buildings are leveled up, traffic flow. Again, I want to see if I can figure out how to push that up above 90% again, but that's mostly my industrial traffic because, as I said before at the outset, most of this is pedestrian walkable districts. And I think I do need to maybe work on my transit network as well. It's a pretty simple circular route here that I have set up. Maybe get some more pedestrians off the street. Ground pollution is good. Noise levels are pretty decent. Let's see. Fire hazard could be a little high, but you can see it's mostly blue. And I use the smoke detector policy, so I never have fires. I have fire spreading enabled, so if we do have fires, then you know I have to make sure I have a good network, but we're pretty good shape there with fire coverage. Crime rate is at 1%. Unemployment rate is at 2%. So at some point in the future, I think I'll want to work on the educational system to improve that and get those numbers up a little bit, and also work on the transit network and see if I can push that up a little bit. Average health is 100%. People are living up to 85 years. Average health is 99% here, 99% here. So I juiced the healthcare budget. That's why I got it up there. So overall, the city's doing pretty well. As I stated at the outset, what I want to do is focus in on this neighborhood right here. I have been, over the last couple weeks, working on trying to make better super blocks. So this here, for example, began as a 2 3x3 9 square districts, but then got a little bit more creative with layout. So we have this inner loop here that cars can enter, but then beyond that, on the interior, it's all pedestrian streets. This one's not quite as original. It's just kind of a basic grid layout. And then this one over here, I put a little more creative thought into. Again, this loop here that comes around the exterior. And on the outside of that, we have commercial and offices zoned. And then on the interior, we have residential. So these are set up on an angle, so it looks a little bit prettier. And then we have our amenities right over here. So there's a little bit of and schools here. And so there's a little bit of buffer in terms of sound. And then similarly over here, we have these roads here with trees. And we have trees over here to try to buffer the residential from the sound generated by these commercials. So when we pull up the sound info screen, you can see this is a very populous, high-density residential district. There is some sound here next to the metro, but I've got, I think, pretty decent separation. So these buildings are not suffering too much from noise. And that's been kind of the general game plan for the whole build. This district is kind of a wraparound. Originally, I was going to try to make this mostly commercial, but because I'm still learning the realistic population mod, there's always demand for more people and not as much demand for office space and commercial, but this is coming along pretty well, I think. Here, I just got really basic and boring. 2 straight long lines of residential towers with amenities in between. And then this is the one where I really kind of went to town. We have the railroad coming in here with a central oval traffic circle, with the plazas on the sides, and then residential clustered on each side of that, more residential on the exteriors, and then commercial. Wait, let's just turn this on. So we have offices sprinkled throughout, commercial again on the exterior, some commercial on the interior, but this is all tourist commercial to go with the baseball stadium. And this is the last part that I did the landscaping in. Worked on that the other night. So this has all been landscaped. So I'm pretty happy with how this is all working out. Hello, welcome. Feel free to say hi if you wish. Glad you're here. Then the last piece, there's this other really cool district over here where I literally plopped these buildings to create this aesthetic that I wanted. It's really kind of cool. Earlier this week, City Skylines actually posted up this shot under the screenshots of the week, which was really exciting. Let's see. We have 2 metro stations in this district. We have one over here and one over here. And then I wanted to see what the new wall-to-wall buildings would look like. So, and the other issue is, one of the rules I've made for myself with this build is I'm not going to zone any low residential. That's why we're going to scrap all this right now. We're going to redevelop all this. And so then if you're thinking about transitions and tapering your skyline, it gets a little challenging because to a certain extent, everything can look really abrupt as it leans up against the exterior of the city. So, or the external boundary of the city. So I just wanted to see what this would look like if I used these, God, what are they called? They're the wall-to-wall buildings, but there's a specific name for this group of building. So I think that helps a little bit. Then, I guess lastly, we have this stretch of open space on the inside that then loops around to the outside. So there'll be some more residential here. This will all be park here. This will be residential. This will be open space out here. One of the other rules I built for myself is I want to try to get to 50% either dedicated to parks or open space in the city geography. That's the rule that Singapore uses for itself. So that's the rule I'm trying to use for myself. So I think that pretty much covers everything. I think it's time for me to start working. So I want to think about how I'm going to build this district here. I haven't 100% decided exactly how this should work, but with the way this is organized, I mean the shape of this piece, what I'm thinking about is this is going to be where the central plaza is laid out. I do want to try to have tall, really striking tall buildings right along that street like these are here. Except I'm going to have to do this so that they're facing inward because this, I'm using this as a collector, and I don't want the residential placed up against the collector. I want them placing the interior street network. So, now I'm also going to try to do this with the game going at fast speed, because that helps to ameliorate population. Oh, I forgot to put that up. We've been very, very stable in our population over the last several dozen hours. Treasury also has been very stable. So if I let the game run too slow and I dezone and zone too fast, then I'm going to wreck that stability. So, except the problem I'm creating for myself is if I want to add a pedestrian avenue that, or pedestrian street that follows along this collector, then I almost have to wreck everything. So we'll see how this goes. All right. Going to now we're creating a new plaza district. I'm just going to trace the outline here, and we'll clean this up later. So this entire piece here will be a pedestrian walkable district. And then I am going to place another district on top of it. I may have to adjust this. So what's going on in my head, I forgot to explain this. I really want the green buildings along this line, and then I'm going to try to just use the zonable wall-to-wall commercial and office buildings in these blocks. So I really have to paint two different districts here to make that work. So we're going to push this here for the moment. I'm going to have to clean these up at some point. Then we'll put this one here. I've done nothing with this park space in here either, so we'll be making that into a really nice city park here also. Okay, so now I want to clean up. This may be too soon for me to even try to be doing this kind of stuff, but I'm always a little bit tedious about keeping these streets, keeping the districts separated so that the streets are clear of districting. That way, if I put in any policies like to get rid of heavy traffic or whatnot inside a district zone, it doesn't affect the collectors. And then I always slip a little bit. So now this is gonna make me have to do the whole thing over again. Boom! Look at that. Gotta fix this anyways here. Okay, let's try it again. Oh, and I'm not going to get all the way up to the corner here. Because I'm going to lose that corner. I may have to put a park in there or some green space or something. That's not going to zone properly. Yep. Dang it. Hand-eye coordination is not what it used to be. Now, we also don't have much mass transit down here, so another agenda item at some point is going to have to be to redesign my mass transit network. Okay, so that is our Plazas and Promenades district. What is happening there? Is that a tree? It's a tree that I planted. Okay, now I want to clean up these districts. I could just wait on that because I need to get the street layout, the networks laid out before I can even figure out what that should look like. We need service points. So we're going to put in one service point here, and then I want to put in a cargo service point. I don't need a large one. Do I need a large one? Let's start with a small one and see how that works. This district is not any bigger than this. Now I have two. Do I have two on this one? There's one there. And so let's use two small ones. It seems to me, look at all those houses leveling up. They don't even know they're going to get demoed here in a minute. It seems to me, my impression in the early outings is, so maybe I need another one of these over here, that, see now I could put this here. Is there a way for me to fit this in here? So anyways, it seems to me that multiple smaller service points function better than large service points. So how... Let's see if I put the cargo one in first. I think I may end up demoing that street. Alright, and now, because this is not going to fit. Nope, okay, so let's demo that street. So people are already losing their homes as we exercise eminent domain here. Now, I could also put some other service buildings over here. Let's see. Sorry, y'all. Whoops. Sorry, y'all. We are going to have to move. I think fire here might be good. Fireworks. And then police on the other side, maybe? I don't know if healthcare is the right answer over here. I think healthcare should be more centrally located. Police range more widely. Then I can landscape all this. Okay, so these houses are dead. That house is dead. Now's where it's going to get tricky. Because I really think my first step needs to be to put in that circular avenue. And so this is going to get really interesting. I am using... I want to look up the name of the creator. Blue Hawk has these absolutely cool protected bike lane streets. This is the one I think I go to the most. It's a I don't want a one-way. I don't think I want a one-way road here though. 2-lane road with protected cycle lanes, parking spaces, and a tree-lined median. So this is pretty cool. I'm gonna mess up a bus route. Let's see. Okay, so this is gonna be a mess. Okay, so if I do this, and then it'd be really nice to just be able to follow this. Eight by 8. Let's see if I go 9 by 9. 10 by 10. I may have the wrong spaces here, spaking here, because what's going to happen is... Oh, no. Let's see what happens. Okay, before I go any further with this, let's just check. If I put fencing right on this road, and let's see how many... Yeah, see, so I'm going to have to push that street in further. Because I'm only getting 3 deep. I really want to get the thickest, tallest buildings here. And so we're going to back this up. I went 10 and 10. Will that give me 4 deep? Not letting me do 10. Dang it. Let's get that off. Let's try this now. There we go. We got 10. Eyeballing the depth here, and let's see what this looks like. There we go. See, that's what I'm looking for. All right, so we're going to keep this going. So I think what I'm going to do before I do anything else, I'm going to just go ahead and extend this fence all the way through. I don't think that I necessarily want to get rid of that, because that's going to be an access point. And I really just want to get this as close to the avenue as possible. At some point I might come in and get rid of the fence again after I've zoned stuff. But for the moment, we're going to keep it as... We're going to keep going... Oh, okay. So now I got to start moving service buildings. Oh, no, that's not a silver spreading? Okay, wait. I don't know why that wouldn't let me delete it. Let's see. Oh, no. There we go. So we're going to keep going like this. We're going to convert these streets into pedestrian streets. So we don't need to delete these streets. We just need to put in this fence. Space already occupied. Okay, so let's... I do have anarchy, but I try to use it as seldom as possible. I have a bad habit of forgetting that I have it on, and then I clip buildings on top of each other without thinking about it. So we're going to take this all the way down. And as I'm demoing all of these buildings, all these residential buildings, you can see my residential demand is going up and my commercial demand is tanking, and that's okay, because when these tall residential towers build in, the proportions are going to shift dramatically. Too bad I'm going to wreck those trees. Or are they dying with the buildings? Okay, we're very... Oh, wait, no, I don't want to... Okay, I'm not going to lose sleep over that. I want to keep going this way. Let's delete that for a moment. I don't know what I want to do there. Alright, those... Okay, so now I have to start relocating some services. Did I even... Yes, I did. Okay. And yes, okay, so I put that on the right avenue. All right, so now if I can sneak this fence past, I might leave this fence in place. It's gonna let okay, so now I might have to cheat and use anarchy. So we're gonna demo that. Control A, bring it through. Control A, turn it back off, and here we are. Okay, let's see. How can I do this? I know how to do this. I want to get a corner on this fence, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to make this in 2 sections so that I have 2 nodes. 1, 2. Then we're going to grab this node here. Hey, what happened to my other node? And we'll just pull this all the way over here. It should adjust the width of the slats. I'm obsessive about trees, and so I think I'm just going to add some trees right here, right now. Because that little empty spot there is already bugging me. Can I bring this over here without losing it? Yes, I can. Okay, same with this one. And back here. Go. That's too much separation. Let's see if we can find a nice little bush or something. I wonder, does that work in between? One on the corner. Okay, there we go. So now we're going to come back to placing that road. We've eliminated the housing along that road so that we can have streets. Oh, let's turn all this stuff back on. Let's see, is that 5 and 6? Let's see. That's going to be weird. I don't like this. I may have to get rid of that. Let's delete that street for the moment. Don't like how that was turning. So now if we come... Okay, that's not going to work. Let's do 4 and 4. Four and 7. No, let's do 6 and 6. Okay, I'm coming over too close. 6 and 6 like this. It's going to be really tight. Let's see. Nope, didn't do it. Well, maybe it did. Let's see. If I delete those buildings, what do we have? Where are my grid lines? Let's see. Why is it not showing me my grids? That's not going to work though. Let's see. Can I push this up a little bit? Okay, let's just try to do that again. That doesn't look very good. So, let's see. turned off angles, so let's try this again. 2 and 2. See if 2 and 2 gets me where I want to go. Okay, now 180. Is not letting me turn. We may just have to let this be straight. Let's see, if I bring this over here, that may just be how we have to go with this. No! Dang it. What did I do here? Maybe a house screw up? What happened here? I wonder if I missed a zoning tile. Whoops. I wonder if I missed a zoning tile somewhere and so it grew back in. Nope. See, we have to move that street up. Okay, so that means if I come over here. Now I'm going to create an extra node here, but come on. Okay, so that street's bugging me. Okay, this should give me what I want. Okay, perfect. Now, let's turn angle back on. Let's try 9. No. 6. This should be interesting. I may have to close that off too. Is it letting me? We got 7 units. We're not at a 90-degree angle. That'd be nice if I could line that up perfectly. But let's see how many tiles we have here. So this might be rather bizarre here. That's not lining up the way I'd like to, but we're not going to complain. I had to mess with it when I was ahead. Okay, we'll leave it like that. When the buildings are in, people won't see the street. Okay, so we're just going to keep going. We're going to follow this grid here for the moment. And maybe. Because now we'll have solid 4x right through there. Ah! See, that's what happens. I forgot that anarchy was on. I think this should give me the 4x's that I want. D-zone all this though. How long has it taken me to do that little teeny bit? Okay, let's keep this going. Now we're just gonna obliterate houses so that we can see things better. Let's dezone. Make things a little bit easier. So, as I said before, this is the part that's going to become kind of a public square here. Not sure how big I want to make it, but I want to be mindful of that as I come through here. I think we're just going to demo these streets because I want to be able to curve with the road. I don't want... If I come up here, we're going to do this one straight. Let's bring this... Nah. I'm going to bring this straight in. It's not going to let me. Okay, so what we can do here is play with the nodes. We line these up. Didn't move it very far. I think my node was one square off. So let's drag this up here again. Now let's bring this out. No, that's too close to it. Yep. Do it like this. Now we're going to get rid of that. Now we can bring this through like that. Put our fence back. We'll get rid of the fences at some point, but not right now. Turn that around. Let's dezone that. Now, when we force zoning, if we come over, how far is that? That's 35. So let's try 17, 18. This might be tight. This might not make it. Nope. Dang it. Okay. So what we can do... Now I think, since we have that node there, if I demo that, and then I bring this over, how far is that? That's 18. So if I come over 9... Nope. Okay, so that was 9. So let's try... So I'm going to 5 at 180. And then curve it down. Just a smidge. 5 units at 1. Oh, and we have another one of those weird gaps. Okay. I keep demoing fence. There we go. Now we can curve this over. Is it going to let me? It's not going to let me. Okay, that's not 90 degrees, but this, I can move that and get it to 90 degrees, I think. Now if we look at, see, that's useless anyways, and that's okay, because guess what? There are going to be spaces here for, I don't know what I put in there, but there's landscaping that can go in there. There's lots of things that we can do there, except I'm not sure I completely like this angle here. If I bring this down like this, and then bring this like this. I think those houses building in are what's demoing my fence. Let's unzone that. Okay, 9 degrees. Okay, that works. Okay, let's put the fence along that road now before I even do anything else. What is going on? Something's not right here. Could have sworn I did a 90-degree curve there. That's not straight, which is okay. Or is it? Okay, now will this work? If I just do sections of of straight road through here. This might work better. Do I have... Okay, let's see. Now, if I pull this like this... I should now have... There we go. Okay, now... Don't think this is going to do what I want it to do. Well, this might work. Let's see. That's better than nothing. If I don't zone anything in there, that's okay. That actually doesn't look bad. Because these would be uniform. If they're 3 cell front buildings, that'll be fine. All right. Okay, I'm going to cheat. Thank you, move it. Now, it should be clear sailing. Oh, we got a park there to move. Cemetery to move. Come up 1. I could have sworn I turned off anarchy. I just laid out street through every single one of those buildings. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, let's de-zone all this for the moment. Oh, there's a crematorium there. Okay, let's get him back in his home. What? Okay, something is wrong. Oh, there it goes. Oh, whoops. Well, for crying out loud. Let's fix that. That'll be a problem. Not sure that I'm going to do too much more here. I kind of promised myself... Oh, I still have an hour left. Never mind. I promised myself I would work for 2 hours and then quit. And that crematorium then can come over here. Whoa. See, and we are still... Okay, what hotkey gets me off of... I don't know. I had this figured out before. I don't know what key I've changed my hotkeys somehow. Or there's a mod that's been rewritten or something, because it was control. So let me think. Let me just experiment with something here. If I try to put this in here, it lets me do that. Now if I turn, so that's toggling. Somehow my hotkeys are conflicting, because these are turning all this stuff on. Left Control C. Let's try it again. Okay, now if I hit Control A. So Anarchy is on permanently, and I've got to figure out how to turn it off again. I'm not sure exactly what I did. Somewhere I got my hotkeys scrambled. See, that's working the toggle. I don't know what happened here. It shouldn't be happening that way. Something happened. Some mod got edited or something. I have a conflict. Just got to be careful. And I might want to round this off a little bit. Don't want the one way. Was it this one? Nope. Using the right street. Okay. Gonna bring this in here, and then we're gonna curve this over a little bit better. No. Oh, this is so bizarre. I'm not going to figure this out tonight. I do not know what happened. I don't quite like how that looks either. If I just make these straight. Okay, now I do lose that 4 square there, but I think that looks better. Okay. Don't need that. No, come on. There we go. Not sure that I like that right there. Control A. See if... Nope, it is not. Ah. Alright, we're going to have to figure this out at some point. Don't know what's happening. Okay, so we're going to eliminate... I'm about ready to wrap up, actually. We're going to eliminate all these interior streets. Most of these streets are going to end up being converted into promenades, pedestrian streets. But I want to think about the design before I go further. We have... I might just zone along this avenue, but that also might become a copy and paste project. The basic design is going to involve, at the very least, having tall buildings fronting this interior street here, and then wall-to-wall dense on the interior. But I want the discernible center to be right here, so this may have to get changed up. Let's get rid of all this first off. It'll make it easier to look at if I just get rid of all this zoning right here. And I'm thinking about messing around with the zoning here and actually push this park here through here, so the park becomes the center with commercial facing inward, and so I just need to think about the street layout. I may end up demoing this and pushing this around this way after all, and so we'll get rid of this. Maybe I'll just do that right now. Oops. So we have nice, healthy residential demand. I'm going to bet that unemployment is down at 1 or 2% again. So you can almost see it already. If this is the center and the park comes into here, and then this is where we have some commercial.
Ore. We are the leading producer of minerals, ore, and natural resources, which means you're benefiting from our services.
Still don't like how I have this designed.
No matter what our critics say, at Colossal, we care about our employees as well as our customers, which is why we work so hard to get our miners back.
I think I want to bring this straight like
together,
this.
We can reunite minerals with the people who love them.
I lost
more than
my 4 deep right here.
At Sternberger, our cars are more method to take you from point A to point B. They are also composed of industrial plastics, polymers, and rubbers. We also know what in the car that is more important than the car itself. And that's why it can also carry up to 300 kilograms of human, animal, or consumer goods. The climate control device brings the air temperature to 22 degrees Celsius. It's our way of making our cars comfortable for the majority of mammal species. In fact, it is a perfect vessel for transport from short to medium distances, and we believe that the price we are asking is a fair trade for the value transfer to the consumer. Sternberger, more than just an auto.
I don't know why that's happening. I've got forced zoning. I don't know what's blocking that out.
Me,
unless
I'll read it to you.
I don't want to have to redo this street. I think what's happening is this street thinks it's got zoning, and so it's, even though the fence is in, so now if I disable zoning and run this again,
on Earth, I used to listen to Bach almost exclusively. After I landed
now
on Mars, my musical preferences have slowly gravitated towards the works of Mozart and Haydn. Now I can't stand Baroque
force
music
zoning
at all.
again.
I have
Come
no
over. Now
explanation
this
for
should
this
let
phenomenon.
me.
Take care, Daniel.
Why
Daniel,
is it doing
does
that?
sound like a similar experience.
Oh.
I'll have to investigate this further. In the meantime,
Don't know why I'm only getting 3 squares there. Looks like the terrain is... Okay, so let's fix this and see. We're going to have a weird... let's see. If I... Instead of playing with the terrain first, let's put these to this object height. Now, let's flatten that. Now, I'm going to have to lay the street again, but I'm going to try to bring everything to this level. I'm going to reset that street again. Well, it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's bring this. Do that, and then let's see if we can just make this nice and neat. That's okay. I will live with this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Then, or... Well, what did I think I was doing here? I just wanted to have an access road here next to the service. Oh, did I put those on top of each other? What did I do? Okay, hold on a minute. No. Okay, they're right next to each other. That does not belong. Okay. Service points. Okay, here we go. Let's see. If I curve this over like this, it's still going to be 3 deep, but it'll be a nice presentation there. Then this is just going to tee into that, and it's just going to be awkward. Okay, and now anarchy is off. What in the... And now anarchy is on. What is going on? Now my anarchy is working again. Control A, turn anarchy on and off again. We have a nice T there. This is just bizarre. All right. Good grief. Okay, so this is the way I want it here. These are going to become... I'm going to leave these like they are for the moment. Because those are going to become pedestrian. No, that's not what I want to do. Let's come over here and finish this up. If I just move all of this for the moment. And we still have prop anarchy, building anarchy, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what's going on. All of this is going to end up being relocated. Let's demo all of these houses now. Got that fence there. Keep that. Somehow my hotkeys got all mixed up. Okay, now, and we've got a gap there in the fence. Okay, so the fence is set. What I think I might do now is level all of the terrain to this starting point. For the moment. Oh, holy cow. Well, maybe that's not how we're going to do it. we're gonna do a slope from here. No, from here. Hold on a minute. Think this through. Actually going to let the street, we're going to bring the street straight. No, come on. Like this. If I draw this, and anarchy is now on again. What is going on? Bring that in like that. We're going to smooth this. We're going to reverse this. Now, if I go back to my terrain and I make it a slope from here up to here. Then I could come in. No, first I'm going to put the street in, and then we'll clean that up. Okay, so now this is going to be weird because it's not going to be perfectly round. I want to get a nice, neat 90-degree angle. 24 units to 24 units, 22 units. Okay, so we're going to bring straight in 4. 6. Now, 24 should get me there. It's not perfect. Okay, let's do 23 units then. Okay, now I'm not going to have, and I don't care. That doesn't have to be perfect. We've got, these could be 3 fronts. We're going to kind of clean this up a little bit. All of this is going to get reconfigured. Crime rate is high. I got to figure out how my anarchy got so messed up. This is not going to let me move it. Nope. Okay, we're going to cheat. I'm not going to mess with the road network in here for the moment. Okay, so now I'm going to delete that. We're going to bring this straight over. Okay, now. Good grief. And the only thing that's going to look a little bit bizarre here is we're going to come over like... okay, so I've got to move all that stuff again. You don't belong right now. That can go there for now. Okay, now we can bring this over. Should be a nice straight connection. That, like that. Gonna have to move the cemetery again. We'll reset all of that nicely when everything is designed. Okay, so now, before I forget, let's fix this. Because we absolutely do not need... We'll fix all of these another date. Because I have to reset giveaways and I have to reset permissions on all that. And there's no point in me doing that now because all these are going to end up becoming pedestrianized. Except I do want to fix this because I will forget. Let's turn that off. This, we don't need 4 pedestrian permissions here. If we treat this as one large intersection, whoops, no, that's not what I wanted to do. I want to turn that off, turn that on, turn that back on. So this is going to be as if it's one big intersection here. We're going to make sure that traffic can go throughout. And then right here, so people can come across here, come across here. We can let them come here. And then this is going to give way. We're not going to worry about giveaways here. Okay, because that's all going to end up being pedestrianized. All right. I thought so. Something is... I have just thoroughly messed up how I'm using anarchy. I don't know what's happening there. Somehow I got my hotkeys screwed up. Or I never knew how to use them in the first place. Let's fix that. Before I do anything else, I want to bring the park through here. So we're going to eliminate this. It's okay if the street's going this way. We're going to come back to our park. Put on the small, because this is going to really scramble things. The pedestrian district is going to get confused about what it's supposed to do where, but we're going to bring the park in here. And I'm going to let the pedestrian district, we're going to let them meet each other perfectly because I'm pretty sure that that 4-lane road in there, I'm just going to turn that into a pedestrian road. And so we're going to let them stay like this. We're going to push this back. And so, like that. So now the pedestrian district is still pushing around like this. Our regular, okay, so I'm gonna have to clean these up now. So this is gonna get pushed back here. Because this is all gonna be self-sufficient high density housing. This may be such a narrow district that I'm going to have to do some interesting work here. Because there's going to be another district with modern wall to wall. Okay, so this then is going to push through here. Up against this road. Ah. Okay, let's push this back over here to this road here for the moment. So now, if I bring this up like this... Ah, come on. I accidentally started another district. Okay, let's see. So now... we shouldn't lose as much now. If I... do this... this should work. So on the right side of the screen, this is going to be modern self-sufficient, or no, this is going to be green self-sufficient. This here is going to be modern.
Bring the whole family.
They're so finicky. This is going to be modern.
Family restaurant.
Wall to wall.
The old grain mill always has the best.
Let's try to
service
push
and
that
the
back
best
again.
home-style meals in town. We'll make sure you always leave at the old grain mill with a
And
smile
in
and
the
a full
interior
belly.
of those blocks, they're just going to
Be sure that you come
push
down
up
to
against
at
each
the
other.
Old grain mill, old-fashioned family restaurant,
could
and not the abandoned grain facility at the edge of
do
town.
this
It's
and then
not
just think
safe
carefully
for
about
visitors
how I
and
want
poses
to
serious
zone.
risks to anyone
So
who
this will
dares
still be
enter that old
self-sufficient
mill,
green
which was the first to
also.
close down years ago. We ordered our sign and uniforms before we learned of the existence of that dangerous old flour mill, so we are not responsible for what happened there on that awful.
Not sure exactly what I'm going to do there,
wanna focus on making
because we're
bread
going to have
almost every night
more streets in
at the
there.
old grain mill. Old-fashioned
That's going to
family
change
restaurant
up a little bit.
at the old grain mill, from our family to yours.
You're
Oh, and what
listening
happened to my
Mars
zoning?
Official
I can't see
Radio
my
with
zoning
Panna
anymore,
Mascot,
but
your
I'm
first radio
generally
host choice
wanting
with the
to
best radio
have
voice.
4 deep. Yep. I may adjust this later. Let's see. And that's going to be my park anyway, so it doesn't matter right there. So if we then keep this up against here, because this is going to be park. I'm aiming for 4 tiles deep here. I don't know if I'm hitting the mark perfectly. We're going to come in and smooth all this out in a sec. We're going to convert a lot of these streets to walkable. Okay, so now let's clean this up. So this district here is going to be wall-to-wall of everything. Wall-to-wall modern, commercial, residential, and offices. And I haven't figured out what the interior streets are going to look like. But then this, what did I do? Okay, this then, we need to keep pushing. I want this like that, so this could come around. This may end up being park. If I terminate that like that, so this then, because that's gonna be where our service points are. I think this may end up being park also. No. I could have a cluster of commercial over here. So if we push this up to here... no. That doesn't have to be zoned perfectly there, but I think this then is where they buffer each other. Let's put that back in. It doesn't matter because that's all service points, but we could zone commercial right in there up against that. Yeah, see, every time I try to do that, oh, nope. Every time I try to do that, it knocks it back. Alright, there. It keeps jumping. That's fine, right? Like that. What did I just do? Dang it. Okay. Here we go. Okay. And that's park. That's pedestrianized. We may lose that through street there. Let's see. I want a complete loop, so we're gonna have to keep that. I need to flip those though. Definitely hitting the end of the road here because I'm starting to fade. Let's delete that. No. Don't have to. Whoops. No. I want that. So then we need to flip this. Let's put a fence in here so that I don't forget where everything goes. We're going to end up making this all park. Garbage is piled up. Let's just drop these in here. I'm going to wreck that fence. See, we still have a problem with anarchy because those just went where the fence is. Okay, not going to worry about it. All right, so then this is going to be our discernible center. We'll have residential along here. This will be park. This will be commercial. So all that stuff's gonna have to move somehow. Then this is gonna be commercial and office along here. I'm gonna have to rebuild street networking in here, pedestrianized. I don't know that I want to do any kind of zoning at the moment. Closing in on an hour and a half, I think. That's okay. All right, so now let's set our residential specialty. So that self-sufficient. This will be self-sufficient. Why have I lost? Oh, there they are. Okay, so this, I'm gonna change all that. Strawberry is gonna be Then residential wall to wall here. Commercial wall to wall. If I make this tourism, then these will become hotels, which may not be a bad idea. Industrial, no. Office. This will be modern wall-to-wall. This will be IT. So if I do zone any office in here, they'll all grow as tall as the self-sufficient buildings. Then let's now click on this. Modern city center. This. Mid-century modern. Is that what we wanted, I think? I hope that's right. I'm going to rename those districts at some point. Okay, there's Coleridge. How do I get into that? Let's... Everything should already be unlocked except for my garbage points. That's okay. I don't care about that. Office. I've never unlocked the office. I haven't even tried to unlock that. That's okay for the moment. Everything else. But I think I plopped everything else also. But we can use copy and paste if we want to. Policies. Deliver everything. I don't care about slow driving. Okay. Turn that off. I want to keep zoning colors on, zoning grids for the moment. I want the automatic info views on. I want notification off for the moment. Okay, now the other signifier, I'm just going to do this for the moment so that I don't forget. I'm going to use the marquee to grab some trees, and we're just going to copy and paste trees in here so that I remember. This will give us some idea what this is going to look like. Very soon, I'm going to disappear because I can feel my blood sugar getting low as I'm working, and I need to get off of YouTube and actually start doing some work for life. And these trees are not all going to stay there necessarily, but I will want to be able to demarcate visually. See, so now this then is part of this park open space. This will be park, this will be commercial, we figured that out. This will be green residential. This will be mid-century modern, and these will be wall-to-wall. Gotta fix those again. Okay, so this always gets a little bit tricky. When you try to play with these, it pushes. So we just gotta tick that a little bit. For some reason, when you try to put the pedestrian zoning up against the park, it pushes the park off of the street, and so the gates think that they're not in a park area anymore. So we're gonna do that, and then I'm just gonna push it back again, but not all the way. So they kind of jut out into the streets a little bit. So they're happy again. Okay, So we have now, let's look at this again. Wow, look at the demand for commercial. So this then is our pedestrianized area. This then remains park, open space. And I'm not going to do any more zoning now that I have it set up. We're just going to live with it as it is. We're happy. Let's see what our happiness is. Yeah, we're still happy. 2% unemployment, crime rate is still good. Okay, we're still good. Everything is good. We can empty this. We need to empty this. Okay, this is looking decent. Then this then is, I'm going to continue to, I think, build. I'm going to move all this industry over. I don't know if I want to do that or not. I'm going to bring this industry over here. So we'll still have forestry growing here. We might have some unique factories in here. And then we still have forestry in here. So this is going to end up being zoned forestry in here. If we look at this, so this is all, okay, so I may push this back a little bit. So that's forestry industry right there. So I think I want to leave all this as open space for the moment, and that could end up becoming more park. And then we'll have industry zoned, regular, and maybe even industry 4.0 in here. We'll have more forestry zoned in here. So as the forestry zoning comes in, it'll detail this. So like if it's not going to zone right now, but if I were to just drop so these are all going to come in as forestry. But they're probably not going to come in immediately because there's no demand for it. And I can put a dirt road in there. Now I'm really off task. It's because I'm so spacey right now. But I could put a dirt pad there. See, my anarchy is all fouled up. I do not understand. Whoops. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay, there we go. Blood sugar's too low. See, look. Why? There we go. So we'll bring this over here, and then we will remove those trees that are on top of that.
I'm famous chef Tony Magoni, owner of
See,
Tony Magoni's
it's
Steakhouse.
all
And when people
a
ask
mess
me
what
where
is
I
going
get my
on.
award-winning meat from, it's
I
from
don't
one
know
place,
if a mod
Ingredients.
updated. My
No
hotkeys
matter what
got
you need,
all
be it a
fouled
smoked
up.
pig, a goat by sunset, or a
Anarchy.
10-foot
Whoops, no, we don't want to
alligator
do
in a
that.
salty
We want to
brine.
move these out of the way.
Itty bits will get it to you fast with a smile and completely without
Something
judgment.
has
So,
happened.
if it's good
I
enough for Tony
fouled up
Magoni's
my
Steakhouse,
hotkeys
why not be
or
good
a
enough for
mod
Joe Public's
reset.
home house? Yeah. Get in touch with me
because I
today.
zoned all that and they're
Joe
building in
Public's
and they've got trees all
Meaty
over the
Bits.
place.
If it ever was alive, they can get it to you dead.
Hi, I'm Greg, owner and founder of Steel Frame Spots.
But see,
Due to
no,
unusually short fingers, which are a characteristic
leave
of my
that
family
there.
line, I was unable to play spots at the elite level I would have liked to.
Instead, I invested my energy into getting you.
Okay, but it's
the
time for
lowest
me to
prices
call it
possible
quits
on
and
athletic gear.
figure it out on a different day.
Unlike the local sports teams,
Okay,
you can
so
count on us
we have
every
13 million
year.
in the
I
bank
fight
still,
every
which is
day to
good.
get
We
you
have
the best
110,000
deals.
people
I'll
here.
never drop
In
the
the
ball
last
on
hour and a half,
prices,
only 10
and that's
buildings have
because my
automatically
prices
abandoned,
and my
so
customers'
our
happiness
happiness
are not
levels are
affected
good.
by the
Okay, so
short
back to it.
fingers
So this, I
mentioned
think, is going to be more
earlier
park
in
and
the
open space.
advertisement.
This will be
Just remember, when the
industrial in
game's on
here.
the line, who
This
do
will
you
end up
count
zoning
on?
in as forest
Steel
industrial.
Brand Spots. That's who. Check out
This
our
will be
ad in the
park,
weekly
that will be
nickel.
commercial. We are in good shape to keep this show going.
I'm Penem Escalade, and you are
But
listening
I
to
think it's time
Lost
for me to
Official
head out.
Radio. Soon, this planet will require the same social institutions that are required on Earth.
Mute that for the moment.
And of course, schools.
Gonna save. If you do happen to view this in the future, I thank you so much for watching. We should be at about an hour and a half.